fair. You got your battery down low.
Yeah. Yeah, well, stock, they're basically where they are in the Vitara, like they're right up here.
Yeah.
So you don't want the weight up there.
I like how it all bolts in. Like you've got, it's all, and your front, where your shocks mount to in the front there, you can all unbolt that to get your motor out.
Yes. Yeah, well, I had to do that. The other thing which is unusual is I had a lot of problems packaging the shocks. So they're on, the shocks are actually up on the steering knuckles. See that?
Oh yeah.
Because I couldn't, once you got them in here, they were on the chassis.
Yep.
Right, so I had to get the shocks out, absolutely out as far as I could. So yeah, the packaging was difficult. You can see where I've notched the sump for the panhard rod.
It's an absolute weapon, mate. So what's the diff again?
Vitara rear.
Vitara rear flipped.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not flipped in the front. It has to be flipped in the back because the offset's on the wrong side.
Oh,
you don't end
okay.
up with enough tube.
Yep.
Because Vitara rear diffs are actually offset slightly to the left.
Yep.
And these are going to be offset all the way to the right.
Yep.
So the front stays exactly the same, but it's trussed, shaved, wide track or 1.3 Sierra knuckles. It's got dual brake calipers on the front. They're ventilated Vitara rotors, but with two calipers because I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice that before.
No, it's one of the things with having an automatic and that much gearing. It just drives over the converter, like it just pushes through the converter.
Yep.
You can't stop the car. And because these have unboosted brakes, and they're not easy to put a booster in,
makes it a hell of a time to stop it.
Yeah, it was hard to stop.
Yeah,
it stops really well now. But I was just getting tired at the end of the day. Like it was both feet on the brake pedal, and then you'd bump it into neutral, so that you would not having to have both feet on the pedal.
Yep.
But in the moment you put it back in gear again, it'd drive off. And it's got sick of it. So.
It's. I didn't notice that before. How it's on the knuckle like that.
Yeah. Some Unimog guys do it, and that was sort of where I got the idea.
Oh yeah, and that front.
The packaging was. You have a look at how close the shock is to the chassis there, right? So it's not touching, but the packaging was really, really hard.
I see you've couple of little pie cuts in there to clear that front arm.
Yeah. That's a Baleno exhaust manifold because I needed that centre dump.
Yep.
Because with a Vitara or Sierra manifold, they're down here.
Yep.
You just can't make it work.
What bushings you got in there? What are they? Or are they?
Yeah, Summit Machine.
Okay.
Rebuildable Summit Machine bushes. I was getting them from Low Range Off Road. Low Range now do their own, and I don't. So I went, the last set I bought, because there's obviously a lot of them in the car. The last batch I got directly from Summit. Very high quality, really nice.
And what's that? That's your panhards. Is that got that bend in it to get around the pump?
It's got the bend in it because it's straight from a Range Rover.
Oh, okay.
And they have a bend in them to clear the front diff.
Yep.
The front arms are Range Rover arms, but turned into a control arm. So they're just a Range Rover radius arm.
Yeah. I suppose you get that nice pivot from it, don't you? You're not really.
Well, the other thing is that and it's a bit of a trick with radius arms. They're triangulated, so everybody runs their radius arms straight, and that means the bushing flex becomes a real deal. And the front, particularly when you use them in the front roll stiffness gets really high.
Yep.
Whereas once you triangulate the radius arms, you're making them more like a one link, so they can roll without squishing the bushings up. And so, yeah, the more you triangulate radius arms, the better they work. Yeah. A few of this.
Huge coils. What coils are they?
They're Calmini 3-inch Vitara rears.
Yeah, okay.
All round, so the same in the front. And they have a perfect length in the front. They were just slightly too short in the rear because they're further out.
Yep.
So I just bought those tender springs. And these are some old cut down coilovers, HKS coilovers.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah. And it's only just to keep Only just to keep everything sitting there.
Yep. Yep.
But you can see I refabricated the chassis to bring the shocks and the springs outboard.
Yeah, I was. Yep.
It's one of the problems with, which is actually basically like they are in a Vitara. But in a on a Sierra, on most Japanese four-wheel drives, the springs and shocks always end up inboard of the chassis rails, and then you get no re-roll stiffness. The car, and they flop. You know, they do the control thing. They put a front wheel in the air. And
it's just unbelievable how we're going through some of those ruts, and the actual your sitting position you don't really change, except it's.
No. This is all right. Bill's thing's incredible. Bill's just doesn't move.
Yeah, I've got to go check it out. I'm gonna have to drive up there.
He can drive. It's got that car's got far more flex than this ramp, so he can drive. He'll drive off the end of the ramp. It's insane.
Radiators in the back. Absolutely nuts.
This is a Vitara, factory Vitara bearing cup.
Yep.
And then there's actually a 10mm adapter plate on there, in between here, this bit.
Yep.
Which is an adapter to a Sierra front hub, because I had a Sierra full floater, a Sierra base full floater, right?
Yep.
But then I kept breaking axles, the rear axles weren't strong enough.
Yep.
So what I've then done is I cut the spindles off of a 60 series Land Cruiser rear diff.
Yep.
Had them turned down so they fitted into the bearing pocket of the Vitara housing, and welded them in. So that bit there is a turned down 60 series spindle, and so from this point out it's all 60 series Land Cruiser, 60 series wheel bearings. But I had the pattern, I had the hub machine down so it would fit with a Sierra brake.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's got Sierra front brakes on it because I didn't want the weight.
Yep.
60 series Cruiser drum brakes are like 16 kilo a side. I was like, why would I want that?
No.
Right? And I had the hub re-drilled to 5 on 5.5, so it's Sierra rims because I've got money in rims, so I don't want to convert the front to 6. So, and it took me ages to find a hub, like a full float hub like that didn't have cutouts or knurling in the back. Like Hilux have got like tabs, so you can't re-drill the pattern, but a 60 series rear is just a flat disc, so you can re-drill the pattern. And their Yukon cut to length chromoly 60 series axles, which I waited something like 8 months for. They sent me one and then didn't send me the other one, and they were like, oh, it's on back order. So when am I going to see it? And then I just battled with them for 6 months.
Yeah, oh, so they made the rear axles, did they?
Well, they're off the they're a stock on.
Oh, and you've just cut it and welded
you just cut them to length.
Yep.
You don't have to weld them, so they're one piece. So that's the drive flange and the axle is all one piece.
Yep.
And they just have this much spline on them, and you cut them to whatever length you need.
Oh fuck, I should have done that.
So yeah, we can't do it in the front. So yeah.
So the back's pretty indestructible, really.
Fingers crossed. Ring and pinion would be the weak point now. It's air locker. I worked out that you can get a 30 spline axle through the journal of the bearing journal of a Vitara air locker.
Yep.
And that there was enough meat to broach the side gears out to 30 spline. So it's a Vitara locker with the side gears broached to 30 spline.
Yep.
And I couldn't find anybody that had done that. So I sort of had a go and proved it was possible.
Oh, well, thanks for showing me, man.
Oh, no worries.
Very impressive rig. Yeah. I forgot to mention before, it's on 35s as well.
remains of a Parenti in here, which I think
Oh,
is
really?
there. Yeah, that got sold out of auction years and years and years ago, and it turns out that it had been on Fraser Island or something, and it was rooted.
Yeah, right. Fuck, that's come a long way, hasn't it? Oh, that gearing's fuck. That's awesome. That's nuts, man. We're staying relatively flat as well. That's awesome. You must have a lot of down travel, this thing, does it?
Yeah. I don't like this at all. This might be undrivable. Them to be like this, but
Done it.
not out of the woods now.
drive, man. That was nuts.
Yeah, it's good fun. It's engaging. I like it. You're thinking all the time, you know. Like.
I had to quickly check out this thing. Huge brakes on it. Portal diffs. A B, so it's a little Toyota diesel. That's cool.